Go.
Awesome. Okay. So folks, what we are always going to start with is a little bit of breath work. Okay. Breathing is important. Obviously, it keeps us alive, but even more than that, especially when we're going through stressful times, if we're not remembering to breathe deeply, guess what? Unfortunately, it turns on our nervous system into a panic mode, fight or flight. Guess what? Your body freaks out. It creates more stress internally. So the first thing I'd like to start with you guys tonight is a little bit of breath work. So I want you to just, wherever you're sitting, lean back, relax, get in a comfortable position, hands on top of the legs, just relaxing. Close your eyes, okay? First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 3-part breath. You're gonna breathe in really deeply into your stomach, filling the belly with air, filling up the rib cage with air, filling up the chest with air, pausing, exhaling from the chest, exhaling from the rib cage, exhaling from the belly, pausing. Now I'm gonna talk you through a few of these and then we're gonna do some on our own, okay? All right, everybody relaxing, nice little comfortable position. I want you to take a deep breath in, filling the belly up with air, filling up the chest with air, the rib cage with air. Take a pause. Exhale from the chest, from the rib cage, from the belly. And repeat. Filling the belly up with air. Deep breath in. Filling up the rib cage, the chest. Hold at the top. Exhale from the top. Exhale from the rib cage. Exhale from the belly. And let's repeat that one more time. Belly, ribs, chest, hold, exhale, chest, ribs, belly, hold. Now we've done 3 breaths, so I'd like you guys to do 5 more on your own at your own pace. So what does that mean? If you don't breathe quite as deeply as I do, if it doesn't go as quickly as I do, if it goes longer than I do, take it at your own pace. Let's do 5 more breaths. Hey, Ed, you want to throw some music on for me? You want to throw some music on for me? Cool. All right, let's breathe into the belly, ribs, chest, pause, exhale, chest, ribs, belly, pause. Got 4 more. Don't be afraid to verbally let that breath out. Inhale. Exhale, let it all out. My Shield colleague here, he's got some local tunes coming on. We've got Molly Healy in the mix, we've got Randall Shreve, we've got Cadella, we've got Wisdom Traders. They're just some local artists that have allowed us to use their music for this live. So continue on, I'm gonna do 1 more breath. Awesome, you guys, you just did some great breath work. Give yourself a little pat on the back, a little fist bump. Cool. So the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight outside of breath work is going to be posture. Okay, so a lot of us typically, I'm going to sit to the side real quick. A lot of us typically kind of slump over in posture. Pretty normal, pretty standard. Don't feel bad about it or anything. Everybody does it. So what I want to challenge you guys to do tonight is I would like you to sit up straight, roll the shoulders back and down, and then take these ribs and tuck them in. Pretend like your ribs are getting tucked into your pants, or in my case, in my belt, right? So this rib cage is gonna go down, engage the abs, and that's gonna keep us nice and straight. So you don't see any dips in my back. I'm nice and straight there because I've got those ribs tucked down into the into the pants or the belt, whatever you want to think of it as. Shoulders are rolled back and down, keeping my chest nice and open, and my gaze is going to be neutral, okay? So that means that as if I had my chin on a table, just resting on a table, I'm going to keep that chin neutral. So this is going to be our posture for this evening, okay? So if you need to refer back to it, don't worry. I will give you plenty of reminders tonight. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of our little stretch class, I want to do some warm-ups, okay? I am actually going to take my gloves off for this, just so you can see my hands because I'm wearing a lot of black. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some finger flicks. So you're literally cupping your fingers and flicking them out as wide as you can get your fingers to go. What this is going to do is basically, while we spend all day texting and typing, our fingers are kind of in this position. This makes them do the opposite of that. It's a really great little thing to do if you're ever typing a lot, or if you're gaming, or if you're texting, whatever you might be doing, and your fingers are kind of getting cramped up. Go into these little finger flicks. It's really nice. Gives the hands just a little bit of a break. Okay, next little stretch for the hands is going to be what I like to call cowabungas, which I like to think that your guest earlier today, Robbie Wrist, would appreciate. Basically, we're going to make this little hang loose symbol right here, cowabunga, with our hands. We're going to do one hand at a time, or we're going to do both hands at a time, but we're going to do one direction at a time, excuse me. So get your hands in this little cowabunga symbol, and we're going to go horizontally. So try to keep your arms in place and just move your wrist. You guys are doing great. I can't see you, but I know you're doing really great. You're gonna feel a little bit of your forearm muscles maybe getting a little burn going. That's okay. Most of the time our forearm muscles aren't really used to doing anything outside of just normal day-to-day activities. So you can kind of get a little burn going when you start to do these. Let's do them a little bit faster. Great. We're going to go back into these wrist finger flicks just to give our fingers a chance to chill out, and shake your arms out. Give those arms a rest. Awesome. Now we're going to go back to our cowabungas, and we're going to take them vertically. So instead of having them in front of us like this, we're going to turn them like this. And we're going to go this direction. Just working the wrist and kind of getting that wrist warmed up in a little bit of a different direction. All right, rest those hands, shake those arms out. You guys are doing great. So this is called social stretch. So Springfield Aerial Fitness in Springfield, Missouri, we have a social stretch class during quarantine online right now every Friday. And basically I'm going to be doing these types of stretches that I'm going to work with you guys through tonight. But what we do is we actually enjoy a beverage while we do our stretches. So whether that is water, tea, coffee, beer, wine, some sort of alcoholic adult beverage, whatever your preference is, we welcome you to do that. Tonight, I'm enjoying a nice sparkling water because shield agents, we don't drink on the job much, let me tell you about that. So what we're gonna do tonight is we've kind of gotten through a little bit of our warm-up. I'd like you guys to grab your beverage, if you have one with you, and let's do a nice little toast. So cheers. Thank you for showing up to Virtual Visioncon. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate you showing up. Let's continue on with some of these warm-ups. So it's important to get the hands warmed up. It's important to get the wrists warmed up, the forearms. Let's get our necks warmed up and our heads warmed up, okay? We're gonna do some head rolls. So what you're gonna do is imagine that the top of your head has a lightsaber on it and you need to make a circle with it. I believe in you guys. I think you can do it. So we're gonna take and we're gonna create this circle with our head. Important key here is that you don't let these shoulders rise up. You wanna keep the shoulders down as we go through this head roll. If you find that you have any tight spots, feel free to hold for a moment in that spot. Try to breathe deeply while you're there, and then continue through your motion. That little pause can really, really, really help to stretch out maybe just a tiny part of your muscle that might be tight from having your body or your posture in a weird position. If you're getting dizzy, some people get dizzy with these, take it slow, come back to neutral if you need a break, and then continue through your movement. All right, let's reverse the direction and go in the other way. If you have any neck pops, don't be alarmed. That is pretty standard. I usually have one or two. You don't have to go the same speed as me. Once again, the name of the game is going to be modifying for your body. Everybody's body is different, and that is what makes everybody so unique, and that is awesome, okay? Come back to neutral, take a little break while I talk to you a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next stretch. So everybody's body is different, and I want everybody who's watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching on YouTube, I want you to know that wherever you are with your body, with a fitness journey, without a fitness journey, whatever your situation is, wherever your body is at right now is okay. It is fine. You are enough as you are, okay? So if you're like, wow, I can't do head rolls as fast as her, or I can't go as far into a stretch as her, that's okay. That's not what we're worried about. What me as an instructor, what I worry about with my students is I want you to have the tools to know what correct form is, to have good technique, to concentrate on different things and challenge yourself. But when we challenge ourselves in fitness or in stretching or just in daily life, we don't want to do something that is harmful to us. So during this class, if we're going through a stretch, and let's just say we're doing a side stretch and I can bend this far over, but that hurts your body. Take a little bit off of it, go to where you're comfortable, take a couple deep breaths and see if you can get any further into it, for example. So always, always, always modify for your body. I try to be really good about giving modifications while we're in class, so don't worry, I've got plenty of modifications. But just remember that you showed up to a stretch class, and that is the most important thing, that you're here and you're present and you're willing to try something new if this is new for you. Or if this isn't new for you, you're willing to work harder on something that you've already been working on. Those are both really great things, and I think people need to give themselves just a little bit more credit in that area, okay? So let's continue on with some of our stretches. So we just did our head rolls, so now we're gonna do head turns. So you're literally gonna look to your right as far as you can, and then look to the left. Remember our good posture here. So if you're kind of slumped forward, try to sit up straight, engage the abdominal muscles, roll the shoulders back, and keep your gaze neutral. Look over to the side, look to the other side. I kind of take a small pause in the middle to make sure that my chin is neutral, right? Okay, so we're gonna do that together, and I'm gonna time it for 30 seconds, all right? So if you will join me, get into your nice posture, and let's start some head turns. All right, you guys, take a little pause, roll the shoulders a little bit. Kind of feels nice after something like that. If you're not used to doing head turns, sometimes it can get a little tight on the top of the shoulder, which is the trap area. So just some shoulder rolls can help there, which kind of segues me into my next thing. But first, let's have a social. Cheers, you guys. Okay, so we're actually going to go into a shoulder roll sequence now.
Marissa, are you there? I think we lost you. Marissa? Huh. Well, while we wait for Marissa to come back, I kind of put a little too much oomph in my glass clink because I've been using this. I used this once, but it's lighter, so I was like, yeah, I'll try that. But I was just like, bah, right in my screen. So, I mean, the screen's fine, but I was a little embarrassed. Well, you guys having a lot of fun at virtual Visioncon still? You know, tech difficulties are just kind of intermediate. Like, it happens, but we're rolling with the punches. But we appreciate all of your understanding nonetheless. Okay, Marissa messaged me. She said she thinks it got overheated, so she'll be back momentarily. Oh, Elizabeth, mine. Okay, Elizabeth said mine does too when I do this in yoga. It's not bad. It just means that you've got some arthritis happening in there, so it does likely mean that you are old. Okay, well, it happens to all of us. Oh, excuse me. Well, after this, at 8 o'clock, we have our big drink and draw with Nate Howard and a bunch of great guest artists. So it should be a riot to watch and, really cool to see what they come up with, especially when, they're absolutely trashed. But, we kept that for the late night portion just because, a little more adult-centric. Give me one sec. All right, Marissa's coming right back. Right, audio connecting.
Sorry, my phone got overheated.
You're fine, sweetie. All right.
Okay, I'm good to go.
All right, you're good.
Awesome. Okay, so next we're going to run into our shoulder roll sequence. So the first part of a shoulder roll sequence for my class is that we're just going to be moving the shoulders. So a cue that I like to use that I think is helpful for people is imagine that there are two boards or pieces of paper on the side of you in this vertical plane, right? Your shoulders have markers on them. You need to draw a circle with just your shoulder, okay? So we're gonna draw circles with just the shoulders. So we're going to go down and back first, squeezing our shoulder blades together, going up close to our ears, and then coming back down forward. So we're drawing this circle with our shoulders. So I'd like you guys to join me in this. We're gonna do it for 10 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do it the opposite direction, going backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, you guys. Next, we're going to take our hands and we're going to put them on our shoulders. If you can't quite touch your shoulders, that's okay. Just put them on your body wherever you can, closest to your shoulders. And our elbows are going to have the markers this time. So it's important that our elbow stays out to the side and creates that circle for us. We're not doing our shoulder with our elbow this time. We're trying to focus on just the elbow making that circle. So we're going to go 10 forward and 10 back if you'd like to join me in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're gonna go backwards this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release the hands, shake those shoulders out. You guys are doing awesome. A little social cheers for you guys. Okay. Now that we have our shoulders, wrists, hands nice and warmed up, we're gonna work on chin tucks. Chin tucks, I think you guys could be considered one of the most important little physical therapy exercises that you guys could do. So, how do chin tucks work? A lot of people think tucking their chin looks like this. That is tucking your chin, technically, but it's not the chin tuck that I'm gonna talk about. So we're gonna get into our nice posture, a nice, tall, elongated posture. No dips in the back, back is straight. You're gonna take your fingers, I like to take 2, put them on your chin, and you're actually just going to pretend like that chin is still on that ledge, and we're gonna push the chin back. It's not a very big movement, right? So when we do this, what we need to make sure is that our body stays where it is, and our chin is the only thing going backwards. So if you do it forwards, you'll kind of see a little bit of a dip, but just know that I'm actually not dipping down at all, but when I face you, it's going to kind of look like that, but just know that I am going like this. So some of you might be like, what is this actually doing? What this is doing is it's strengthening some of these suboccipital muscles. So the occipital bone is this bone right here that kind of like is the bottom of this curve of your skull. So the muscles below that are the muscles that are going to help your head stay upright, okay? So what's happening when we're doing stuff on the computer or texting or just having like what I call couch posture from like quarantine, watching movies all the time and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm doing the same. But what's happening is that those muscles are just being stretched out. So what this exercise is going to do is strengthen them so that they have a little bit more power when your muscles have been so stretched out from looking down so much, okay? So we're gonna do these chin tucks for 30 seconds. So you're not gonna be holding it for 30 seconds, but we're gonna do what I call pulses. So this is a pulse. Hold it for a moment, release back to neutral. Hold it for a moment, release back to neutral. Okay, so get into your nice seated posture. You don't have to do fingers on chin, but I think it's a good guide. You guys can decide for yourselves, and let's begin. All right, come back to neutral. Just do a couple head rolls from side to side. Do a circle if you like, just to give that head a little bit of a rest. Okay, the next seated stretch that we're gonna work through is going to be a crossed arm stretch. So sit back in your chair. I'm in a kitchen chair, so legs are gonna be hip width apart. We're gonna put one hand on opposite leg and the other hand on the opposite leg. And we're actually going to, this time, really tuck our chin. I'll do it sideways so you can actually see like kind of the body positioning. We're going to tuck our chin really hard and push into the round of our back to kind of stretch those back muscles out a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna stay sideways for this. You guys don't need to be sideways. You can just sit in whatever direction you were already in your chair, but just so you can kind of see my body. And we're gonna do 10 pulses, okay? So cross one arm to the other leg here. And let's begin tucking the chin. Really small ball, and then come back to neutral. Tuck in 2, and up. 3, and up. 4, and up. 5, and up. Now, we're about halfway, so switch arms. So my left arm went to my right leg, my right arm was on my left, so I'm gonna switch to the opposite. As far as like, if your right arm is on top, switch to the opposite, if that makes sense. So whatever arm was on top goes to the bottom. And we're gonna do 5 more. So tuck and come up. 2 and come up. 3 and come up. Really stretch out this upper back area. 4, pull those shoulder blades apart. Keep the hands nice and firm where they are on the legs. Nice. Good job, you guys. Time for a social. Have a beverage. Cheers. Na zdraví, as they say in Czech.
Na zdraví.
Na zdraví. So we are going to move on to the opposite stretch. So we just stretched the upper back. Now we're going to stretch the chest. So what you're going to do is, if you can reach your hands and clasp them together, that would be great. If you can't reach your hands, just stretch them behind you and try to stretch and open the chest up, okay? So we're going to do some holds on this one. So we're not gonna pulse, but we're actually just gonna hold it and try to open our chest as much as possible. I also want you to kind of take the eyes to the ceiling and place your gaze at the ceiling so that we can really get that chest open, because if your gaze stays neutral, you're not gonna have the ability to quite get that chest as open as we want it. So hands behind your back, straight behind you. If you can clasp your fingers together, that would be great. And look up and hold. Deep breaths, you guys. As you breathe deeply here, try to see if you can get your hands closer to each other on the exhale. Slowly, and I do mean slowly, release the hands, bringing them back to the front. That can be a lot on some people's shoulders, so we're just gonna do some gentle shoulder rolls here, just to get those nice and worked out. And a couple of the opposite direction of what you just did. Okay. Next up, we have our scapular squeezes. So the scapular muscles are kind of here in the upper back area close to your shoulder. So what we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna face the opposite direction so you can see my shoulders. So you're going to take and squeeze your shoulders together. And we're gonna do pulses like this. So what's important in this is that you keep your shoulders down, okay? So I'm not up here and squeezing. I'm keeping those shoulders down and back and squeezing in the upper middle part of my back. okay? What this is gonna do is it's gonna strengthen those scapular muscles to help keep your posture nice and open in the chest area and nice and elongated in the spine. This is super important, especially if you work with a computer. This can really help with any back issues or just general posture issues, okay? So we're gonna do some scapular squeezes. I'm gonna be towards the side, but you guys just stay in whatever position you're in. And we're gonna do 10 scapular squeezes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, you guys. You're doing great. I can't see you, but I know you're doing great. Cheers. Little social. Me and my sparkling water. So the next thing we're going to go through is a little bit of a lower back and glute or butt cheek stretch. So I'm going to back up just a bit so you can actually see a little bit more of my legs. You're going to take your leg and cross the leg ankle right above the knee. You don't want to be on the knee because that causes a little bit of pressure on that joint, and we don't want to do that. So ankle right above the knee on the quad muscle, on the muscle on top of your leg. And if you're not very flexible and your knee is like up here, that's okay. We're not worried about how flat you are. I'm pretty flexible, so I'm pretty flat here. So if yours looks more like this, that's okay. Don't worry about it. So what we're gonna do here is the key to this next stretch is gonna be that you keep your posture correct. You do not want to lean forward in this stretch with a rounded back, because the minute you round that back, the part of the low back that we're trying to stretch just gets very relaxed. So we need to keep our nice posture, and then we're going to lean forward. And some of you are going to feel it in the lower back. Some of you are going to feel it in your glute area. It's going to be different for everybody, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 pulses, and then we're going to do the other leg with 10 pulses. Then we'll come back and do a hold, because this is a really good stretch. And when I do this with people, I tend to get a lot of people saying, oh man, that felt really good. I really needed that. So I like to do both. The pulses basically get the muscles warmed up, and then the hold will allow you to breathe and focus on your breath and get a little bit further into that stretch. So start with whichever leg you want to start with. You don't have to turn to the side. I'm just doing that for your view. Keep this posture nice and tall, and you're going to take your chest down towards the legs. You want to avoid bringing the legs to your chest. So we'll do 10 pulses. 1, 2, 3. Keep this hand on the opposite knee if you'd like to try and challenge your knee to go down just a little bit more. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, switch legs. Other ankle to the other quad right above the knee. Just get your posture correct and go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, go back to the first leg that we were working with. And we're gonna do a hold. So what that means is you're gonna go down. I'm gonna count it out to 30. I'm gonna count in my head. I don't need to count to 30 out loud, I don't think. But just remember to breathe deeply in the holds. Try to breathe, always try to breathe into the area of your body that you're trying to stretch. So for us, it's our lower back and our glute area. So take really deep breaths in, focusing on expanding the area that we're trying to stretch, inhaling all the way and doing the same back and forth in that breath work. And try to get a little further, even if it's just a centimeter, on the exhale. The exhale is really where you're gonna feel yourself be able to go a little bit further into the stretch. Also, if you don't get further into your stretch, that's okay too. I am just glad that you're here with me, okay? So let's get started. Ankle on quad and lean forward. Breathe deep. Slowly come up, slow, slow, slow. Give your body time to adjust. Put your leg on the ground gently. There's no reason to rush whatsoever. Let's work on that opposite leg and correct posture and go forward. As you can all see, I can go way further on this side. Breathe deep. All right, slowly come up. Slowly put that foot on the floor. Grab your beverage. Cheers, my friends.
Goodbye.
Evan, we have a message from Rich. It says, tell Evan we're not that kind of show, and if we are, I'm too old to be a bouncer for a club again. Shaking my head, y'all. I'm just shaking my head. Okay. Up next, you guys, I think are going to love this. It tends to be a fan favorite. I would like for you to watch this before you actually try to do it. It's kind of important that you know the ins and outs. We are going to do a little bit of nerve flossing. So what the heck is nerve flossing? So basically, it just improves the pathways that our nerves have from point A to point B. If you're new to this, if you're not super mobile, if maybe you have a little bit less mobility, that's okay. Don't worry. I have plenty of modifications for you. What will nerve flossing improve? It's going to improve your mobility. It's going to improve range of motion. And that's the main two things that I like to focus on with this. So we're gonna start with the median nerve, which is kind of the main nerve that goes through the median part of the arm. We're going to make a tray, okay? I'm gonna scoot over so you can kind of see my arm. So like you're holding a tray, and what we're gonna do is we're going to put it all the way out and bring our arm back in. Now, what I want you to notice about my body is that I'm in my nice posture, right? So my hand is in line with my shoulder. That's gonna be important. So for some of you with this flexed hand, when you put it out, you're gonna feel some tingling in the fingertips. That is normal. So what I like to tell people about mobility or flexibility, stretching in general, is if you feel a slight discomfort, that is different than something being painful. And I want you to make sure that you're paying attention to your body and you're listening to your body, okay? So we don't have to go into the painful zone. We actually don't want that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those really sad videos where you see like a dancer, a gymnast, a cheerleader, somebody who's working on their flexibility, and they're being like shoved down into the splits and they're like crying because it hurts so bad. That is not my version of flexibility. I'm not judging anyone, but that is not what I would prescribe to any student. So remember, a little discomfort, a little tingle, that's okay. Pain, not okay, okay? So options here are gonna be keep this tray position and just do the arm. If that's too much on your nerves, we don't want to do this too many times. What you can also do is stay here and bring your head away from your hand. Okay, those are options 1 and 2. This is going to be option like basically at the low level. This is going to be level 2. Level 3 is going to be doing both at the same time. Okay, you're gonna feel a lot of tingle through the fingertips, or at least I do, because I don't have that great of shoulder mobility. So I think the nerves get about here. By the time they get to my fingers, it's like, whoa, Nelly, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this for 30 seconds. And now that I've talked you through it, hopefully you weren't doing it the whole time. If I didn't make that clear, I'll always count it off for us. So get into the nice posture. Remember your posture. Flexed hand, like you're holding a tray, keep it flexed the whole time. Send that hand away and send the head away, or just do the arm, just do the head. And you can also, I guess, just do the wrist if it really isn't feeling great for you any other way. That's another option. So 30 seconds on the clock and begin. All right, and rest. We're gonna do some shoulder rolls just to get those shoulders to loosen up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna move to this side of the screen, and we're gonna do the other arm. Make your tray, get your posture nice, and let's begin. Try to get that ear, the head that's bending towards the shoulder, ear to shoulder is kind of the cue I would give you guys for that. If this feels kind of weird for some of you, that's okay. Just know that new things can feel weird sometimes. That doesn't make them bad. Just makes them new. All right, come back to neutral. Do some shoulder rolls. Feel nice on the shoulders. All right. So I want to do some finger flicks because I think for some people, the median nerve flossing can be a little bit intense. Okay, let's have a social. It's about time, right? Cheers. Okay, next up, we've got got a few minutes left. What I would like to do is going to be kind of like, not really a stretch, but more of an exercise. And I read a study once that talked about posture, and it was about kind of like this quarantine posture that we're all having on the couch or in the lazy boy. And the thing that the doctor said was, posture doesn't matter as much as long as you're moving. And that really was profound to me because I thought, okay, so that means I can still sit and watch Netflix for 8 hours, but as long as I move every once in a while, it's okay however I'm sitting. So I don't think that they meant to be laissez-faire about it completely, but also just move, okay? All these things that we've done tonight are things that if you've been kind of here all day typing and working, or you've been kind of in the weird position on the couch watching Netflix. For me, I'm watching The Crown right now. So like you've been here for forever, just sit up, do some chin tucks, do some shoulder rolls, move a little bit, and then go back into your comfortable position and watch your shows, right? So what I'd like to do for the end of this little workshop class is some like little exercises that you can do sitting here. So we're gonna do basically marching, but I like to call it knees to chest, okay? So we're gonna keep our nice and tall posture. And what we're gonna do is feet are gonna be on the ground, hip width apart. So knees are in line with the hips. And if you'd like to hold onto your chair, you can. You can put your hands right here. You can put your hands on your hips, or you can also guide your leg. So if you feel like you're not super stable, maybe you need to work on a little bit of core muscles, you can also guide your leg up. I'm probably going to be doing that option mainly because I have a knee injury. So I've got some tendonitis in my knee. So it's a little bit easier for my body if I lead my legs. So we're going to do it for 30 seconds, one leg at a time. So nice posture. If you're going to lead your leg, grab behind the leg and lift. If you're feeling any pinching in your hip, you might need to move your knee out a little bit and kind of bring it more to the side of the body. All right, lay that down. Go to your other leg. So whether you're doing this or you're using your hands, doesn't matter. Get your nice posture and let's begin. All right, let that leg rest. You guys can kind of shake your legs out, whatever feels nice. Give them a little break. And we've got one more little exercise before Zach comes on and tries to kick me off. It's okay, it's his job. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is sit kind of in the middle of your chair, and we're going to keep our nice posture while we lead ourselves back to the chair. Fingertips are gonna go right behind the ears. So we don't wanna put our hands behind our head like this, because what tends to happen is people put pressure on their neck and their neck does this, and that's not gonna feel good on your neck. So hands just by the ears, fingertips. Okay, we've got our nice posture, we're leaning back, and we're gonna do some crunches, you guys. I know it's kind of crazy to think about, why would I do crunches in a chair? But you know what? It's actually pretty nice. So let's go for 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release the arms, shake them out a little bit. We're gonna do one more set of 10, just because I know you guys can do it. I would challenge some of you to go a little bit further out on the, not on the edges of your seat where you feel like you're gonna fall off, but you were in the middle, scoot forward just a little bit, keep your nice posture, and lean back a little bit more. So you're a little bit more at this incline, decline, incline, whichever, I don't know which one it is. Hands where they need to go. Try to use just your abs to crunch forward. Try to really squeeze those abs, okay? Ready? We're gonna do 10. And if you're just sitting where you were before, that's also fine. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back to neutral, and we are going to have our final toast, our final social. And I just want to dedicate this to a few people. One, all of you who are viewing at home. This one goes out to you guys. We really appreciate you guys showing up for virtual Visioncon or watching it later if you've got to work or you've got stuff going on. We really appreciate you being a part of this. And secondly, this goes out to all of our essential workers, whether you're a first responder or someone at the hospital or a grocery store worker or someone working in a call center. All of you are keeping our country going. All of you are keeping our society going. So thank you for being on the front lines of this pandemic. We appreciate you. We thank you. We want to give a big shout out to all of you for doing what you're doing right now for all of us. So cheers to our Visioncon family and viewers. Cheers to essential workers everywhere around the world. Zach, you can come on, and if there's any questions, I would love to answer some questions. Once again, I'm from Springfield Aerial Fitness in Springfield, Missouri. We are a aerial fitness, which refers to aerial silks, trapeze, lyra, and we also have a pole fitness studio where we do pole fitness and exotic floor work. And it's very inclusive space. We have been here in Springfield, we've been here for, I want to say this is our 4th or 5th year in Springfield. And we have lots of classes. When we're normally open. Right now we've got online classes that we are using to help people stay strong, stay flexible, stay mentally sane during this weird time that we're all going through. So if anyone had questions in the comments, I'd love to answer some, but if not, we can just chat.
I'll look real quick. We do have about just 5 more minutes until the drink and draw, in which case, Natasha, I'm going to have to ask you to get off and find Marissa because she's supposed to host that with me.
I'll have to call Nick Fury because I don't know where that gal is.
Dang it. Okay, well, let me see if there are any questions. There are a lot of people tuning in.
Cool.
No questions, though. I guess my one question is, Natasha, how did you get into this in the first place? Like, aerial fitness is something that's super cool, but not exactly something that, they teach you every day. So how did you get into it, and, what does it mean to you?
So I got into aerial fitness because I have to give a shout out really quickly to Zenith Climbing Center in Springfield, Missouri. Zenith was the first place that we held classes. And when I was just a student and I wasn't an instructor, I went rock climbing there, and we saw a flyer for the aerial classes, and we were like, well, obviously we have to try that. And I have a dance background. I danced my entire life. I still dance, just not in classes. But, when I first tried it out, it was very challenging physically, which is obviously something that I'm very into. I like to challenge myself physically. But secondly, it felt very familiar to dance because there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of movement that goes into it. You can also combine ground movement with aerial, which is a really beautiful thing called aerial dance. You guys can YouTube that. You can find that. You can also go to our website, sgfaerialfitness.com, and we have plenty of videos on our website that you can check out. So I got into it just by being a member at Zenith Climbing Center and trying a class out. And what does it mean to me? Aerial dance means everything to me. It's an expressive art form. You can really do so many things. It can be very inclusive to all body types, which is something that's really important to me. I feel like the fitness industry is lacking things that are inclusive to body types of different sizes, of different mobility levels. And I think that that's just something that's really important that our society needs to pay attention to, because those people still deserve to work out and exercise and keep their physical body and their mental body good. And I think aerial fitness is something that anybody can do. I mean, the aerial rigging is rated for 1,000 pounds. So unless you're 1,000 pounds, then you physically could not do aerial, but no one's 1,000 pounds that I know of. So it becomes this doorway for people to come in and do something that most people look at and go, oh my God, I would never do that. Sure. But then you do it and you find community and you find people who are very supportive of you. When you're working on a move or something, and everybody behind you is like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And they're encouraging you. And maybe you don't do it. And guess what? They're going to go, you know what? It's cool, man. We've all been there. And there's just this really great community behind aerial fitness that I love. And I feel so grateful and privileged to be a part of. So it means everything to me.
Natasha, you never cease to amaze me. Well, I'm going to jump off of you here because we're about to go into the drink and draw, and I'm going to let the others in. So
I'll go get Marissa. I'll find her. She's somewhere. Nick's got her stashed somewhere.
Yeah. Deanna's actually the one hosting with me, but she said that you could join in as well.
Oh, well, that's very nice of her.
Of course. All right, I'll see you soon, sweetie.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. Now let everybody else in. Let me stop the recording for this.